Tonight, we are going to stay with a very familiar moment. The room is quiet. The lights are low. Your body is tired. But your mind is still speaking. It may replay small things from the day. It may jump into tomorrow. It may ask questions that felt easy to ignore while the world was busy. This is the strange feeling of the mind getting loud at night. Not loud like a sound in the room, but loud in the way a thought can fill the space when everything else becomes still. A simple memory can feel larger. A small worry can feel closer. A passing idea can seem important just because there is nothing else competing with it. For the next little while, we will look at this feeling slowly. We will not treat it as something dramatic or frightening. We will treat it as a quiet, human experience. The mind at night is not always calm, but it is often trying to sort, protect, remember, and prepare. Sometimes it is doing ordinary work in a very quiet room. The first thing to notice is simple. During the day, your attention has many places to go. There are messages, sounds, chores, faces, roads, screens, meals, errands, and small decisions. Even a normal day gives the mind many objects to hold. Your attention keeps moving, and because it keeps moving, many thoughts do not have time to become large. At night, that movement slows. The room stops asking for much. The phone may be away. The lights may be dim. There is no conversation to follow, and no task to finish right now. So the mind begins to hear itself. Thoughts that were waiting quietly in the background now step closer. Not because they are new, but because the rest of life has become quieter. This is one reason nighttime thinking can feel so intense. The thought itself may not be stronger than it was at noon. The space around it is simply emptier. It is like hearing a small clock in a quiet house. The clock was ticking all day, but the daytime covered it. At night, the same small ticking becomes clear. Your mind also likes unfinished things. It likes open loops. A message you did not answer. A choice you did not make. A sentence you wish you had said better. A job you need to do tomorrow. These things can sit quietly while the day is busy. But when the body lies down, the mind may bring them back into view. This does not mean the mind is being cruel. In its own way, it is trying to help. It remembers what is unresolved, because unresolved things may matter. The problem is that nighttime is not always the best time to solve them. So the mind keeps offering files, one after another, while the body is asking for rest. A thought at night can also feel more serious because there is less feedback from the outside world. In daylight, you can check reality by doing something. You can send the message, make the call, walk into another room, ask someone a question, or start the task. At night, many of those actions are paused. The thought has no easy place to go. When a thought has no place to go, it may circle. It may repeat itself in slightly different words. It may come back wearing a new shape. This is why one small concern can become a long chain. The mind is not always finding new information. Sometimes it is turning the same small stone over and over in the dark. There is another quiet reason this happens. At night, Your body is moving toward sleep, but the mind does not shut off like a lamp. Sleep is not a simple switch. It is a slow change in the body and brain. Heartbeat, breathing, temperature, and brain activity begin to shift. But during that shift, thoughts can still appear, drift, repeat, and fade. The brain remains active during sleep, and it is also active on the way into sleep. This can surprise us because we often imagine sleep as nothingness. But sleep is not empty. It has stages, it has rhythms, it has changes in memory, emotion, and body signals. The mind does not disappear. It changes its style. Before sleep arrives, the mind may pass through a soft borderland. Thoughts can become looser there. A memory may turn into an image. A word may repeat for no clear reason. A plan may become a half-dream. You may notice a strange idea and then lose it. This borderland can feel odd, but it is often just part of drifting. Still, many people do not experience this borderland as peaceful at first. They feel the pressure to fall asleep. They notice that they are still awake. Then a second thought appears on top of the first thought. Not only am I thinking, I am thinking about the fact that I am thinking. That extra layer can make the mind feel even louder. The mind is very good at watching itself. This can be useful during the day. It helps you notice mistakes, make choices, and guide your behavior. But at night, self-watching can become heavy. You may notice your thoughts, then judge your thoughts, then worry that your thoughts are keeping you awake. The mind becomes both the speaker and the listener. The clock can make this stronger. A clock gives the mind a number to hold. 1 hour awake, 2 hours awake, a certain time until morning. The number can become a small alarm in the mind. It may not make the body safer or calmer. It may simply give worry a shape. The night becomes not just quiet, but measured. This is why the nighttime mind can feel so different from the daytime mind. In the day, thoughts are mixed with action. At night, thoughts are mixed with stillness. In the day, the world interrupts you. At night, the mind interrupts itself. And because the body is lying still, each thought can feel closer to the center of experience. Let us stay for a moment with the feeling itself. You are in bed. The room is dim. The blankets are warm. The outside world is mostly done with you for now. Nothing important is being asked of your hands. Nothing needs your eyes. Yet, somewhere inside, the mind opens a small door and says, "What about this?" It may bring up tomorrow. It may bring up years ago. It may bring up a conversation from the afternoon. It may bring up something strange and small, like a mistake from school, or a face you have not seen in a long time. Night has a way of mixing the urgent with the old, the useful with the random, the real with the almost dream. This mixing can feel confusing, but there is a calm way to understand it. The mind is not a perfect filing cabinet. It is more like a living river. During the day, many streams flow into it. At night, when the surface becomes still, things from underneath can rise. Not everything that rises needs to be solved. Some of it only needs to pass. One of the strongest streams is memory. Memory is not just a record of what happened. It is also connected to feeling. A memory can return because it carries a small emotion with it. Maybe embarrassment, maybe longing, maybe relief, maybe regret. At night, when there are fewer distractions, the emotion attached to the memory can be easier to feel. This is why the mind may replay a conversation. It is not always trying to give you perfect information. Sometimes it is trying to understand the feeling that came with the conversation. Did I sound strange? Did they understand me? Was I kind enough? Was I too quiet? The questions may not need an answer tonight, but the mind asks them anyway. The night can also make the future feel close. During the day, tomorrow is just one part of life. At night, tomorrow may seem to stand at the foot of the bed. Work, money, family, health, plans, messages. The mind may begin to rehearse possible futures, as if thinking about them now could make them safer later. This is part of the mind's old job. It tries to prepare. It looks for problems before they arrive. It imagines what might happen. This ability can be helpful. It lets human beings plan, avoid danger, and care for each other. But at night, the same planning system can become too active for the moment. It wants to prepare when the body wants to let go. So the question is not always, why is my mind doing this to me? A softer question is, what is my mind trying to protect? That does not mean every worry is correct. It only means worry often arrives with a purpose. It is the mind trying to reduce uncertainty. It wants a clear answer before sleep. But many parts of life do not give clear answers at night. There is a difference between useful planning and nighttime circling. Useful planning has a next step. It says, tomorrow I can write this down, make that call, or decide after breakfast. Nighttime circling often has no next step. It only says, what if? What if? What if? And each what if can lead to another one. The mind may also get loud when the body is carrying stress. Thought is not separate from the body. A tight chest, a fast heartbeat, a warm face, a restless leg, or a tense jaw can all change the way thoughts feel. When the body is alert, the mind may search for a reason. It may ask, why do I feel this way? Then, it may create a story around the feeling. Sometimes, the body becomes alert first, and the thought comes after. You may not begin with a clear worry. You may only feel awake. Then the mind tries to explain the wakefulness. It looks around inside itself and finds a topic. This is why a thought can feel important, even when it began as a body signal. Late at night, the body may also be tired in uneven ways. The muscles may be tired. The eyes may be tired. The attention may be tired. But some part of the nervous system may still be active. Sleep is a whole body change, and not every part of that change happens at the exact same moment. The body may be ready in one way and not ready in another. This unevenness can create a strange feeling. You may feel exhausted and awake at the same time, heavy and alert, still and restless. This is not rare. Many people know this state. It can feel like standing at the doorway of sleep, but not being able to step through. The door is near, yet the mind keeps speaking. Another reason thoughts get loud at night is that the mind has fewer fresh inputs. During the day, the senses keep feeding it new material. Light, movement, speech, smell, traffic, weather, screens, and faces. At night, the senses receive less, so the mind may create more from inside itself. It fills the quiet with memory, prediction, and imagination. This can make thoughts feel almost dreamlike before dreams begin. A simple idea may turn into a scene. A small worry may become a picture. You may imagine a conversation that has not happened. You may hear a phrase in your mind. You may see a place for a second, then come back to the room. The mind is beginning to loosen its grip on the day. The border between thinking and dreaming is not always clean. We often imagine waking as one thing and sleeping as another, with a hard line between them. But the move from one to the other can be soft. There can be tiny images, half-formed thoughts, sudden body twitches, small sounds that are not really there, and a feeling of slipping. This is why the mind at night can sometimes feel strange without being dangerous. It is moving from clear daytime thought into a different mode. Daytime thought likes order. Sleep thought likes images, fragments, feelings, and loose connections. When these two modes overlap, the mind can feel busy, odd, or surprisingly deep. We can also think about the day as something that leaves traces. Every day leaves a little dust in the mind. Not dirty dust, but traces of attention, a headline, a voice, a decision, a worry, a hope, a mistake, a small success. At night, the mind may sweep through these traces. It may not know which ones matter, so it lifts many of them into awareness. Some of those traces are emotional. The brain tends to remember what carried feeling. A normal moment can become sticky if it had even a small charge. A look from someone, a word that landed strangely, a message with no reply, a moment when you felt proud, lonely, unsure, or rushed. At night, those sticky moments can return. And because the room is quiet, a small feeling can sound like a large one. A tiny regret can become a whole story. A small fear can become a possible future. A memory can feel like it is asking for judgment. But memory is not always asking for judgment. Sometimes it is only visiting because the mind has finally become still enough to notice it. There is also the simple fact that humans are meaning-making creatures. We do not only experience life, we explain it to ourselves. We build stories around what happened and what might happen next. This is useful, but it can be tiring. At night, when there is less to do, the storytelling part of the mind may keep working. It may try to explain who you are. It may review whether you are doing enough. It may compare your life to someone else's. It may wonder where time has gone. It may ask whether you are becoming the person you hoped to be. These questions can be tender. They can also be too large for midnight. The mind often asks large questions at the smallest hours. That is part of what makes night feel different. A question that would seem manageable in the afternoon can feel endless in the dark. Not because the question is false, but because tiredness changes its shape. Fatigue can make a thought heavier. Darkness can make it feel closer. So, If the mind gets loud at night, one gentle explanation is this. The mind is trying to finish the day. It is trying to close tabs. It is trying to prepare for tomorrow. It is trying to understand feelings. It is trying to make meaning. And all of this is happening at the exact moment when you would rather it become quiet. This mismatch is the heart of the experience. The body says, rest. The mind says, wait, one more thing. The body says, not now. The mind says, but this might matter. The body sinks into the bed, while thought stands near the doorway, holding papers. Not all of those papers need to be read tonight. A helpful image is a small town after sunset. During the day, the town is full of movement. Doors open, cars pass, people talk, shops make noise. At night, the streets empty. Then, one window with a light in it becomes easy to notice. Your thought is that window. It may not be brighter than before. The town around it is simply quieter. Another image is a pond. During the day, wind moves across the surface. The water is busy. At night, the wind drops. The surface becomes still, and small ripples become visible. The mind is similar. When the outer world grows still, inner ripples become easier to see. Seeing them does not mean they must become waves. This is where the nighttime mind can be met with less struggle. A loud thought is not always a command. It is not always a warning. It is not always a truth. Sometimes it is just a ripple, undeterred of memory, a bit of planning, a bit of feeling, a loose thread from the day. The mind can show it without needing you to pull on it. Of course, some nights are harder than others. If the day was stressful, the night may carry more echoes. If you are waiting for news, the mind may listen for it. If something important is unresolved, the mind may return to it. If sleep has been difficult for many nights, the bed itself can start to feel like a place of effort. That last part matters. When a person has struggled with sleep, bedtime can begin to carry pressure. The room may be calm, but the mind remembers other nights. It may think, will this happen again? Will I be tired tomorrow? How long will this take? Then the wish for sleep becomes another thing to monitor. Trying very hard to sleep can sometimes keep the mind awake. This is one of the quiet paradoxes of rest. Sleep is something the body does, but not something the thinking mind can force in a direct way. You can create conditions around it. You can make the room softer. You can lower the light, but sleep itself arrives when many systems gently agree. This does not mean you are helpless. It only means the path into sleep is indirect. The mind may quiet more easily when it does not feel chased. A thought may pass more easily when it does not feel grabbed. The body may soften when it is not being ordered to relax. Rest often comes through less force, not more. In this video, we are not giving medical advice or promising a cure for sleeplessness. We are simply looking at a common experience in a calm way. If sleep problems are strong, long-lasting, or affecting daily life, it can be wise to speak with a qualified professional. But for ordinary restless nights, understanding the mind can make the experience feel less lonely. Let us return to the room. The quiet room is not empty. It contains your breathing. It contains the faint sounds of the building. It contains the weight of the blanket. It contains the soft position of the body. It also contains the mind, still awake enough to notice itself. The mind may speak, but it does not have to be answered every time. There is a gentle difference between hearing a thought and entering it. You can hear the first sentence of a worry without reading the whole book. You can notice a memory without walking all the way back into it. You can see tomorrow appear in the mind without trying to live tomorrow in advance. At night, many thoughts ask for a response. But not every thought needs one. Some thoughts are like cars passing outside a window. You know they are there. You may hear them for a moment. Then they move on. The mind may bring another one. Then another. The task is not to stop every car. It is simply to remember that they are passing. When the mind feels loud, it can help to notice the kind of thought that is speaking. Is it a memory? Is it a plan? Is it a worry? Is it a feeling without a clear name? Is it a random image? Naming the kind of thought can make it smaller, not gone necessarily, just more ordinary. A memory, a plan, a worry, a feeling. But even naming should stay soft. The goal is not to turn the night into a project. The goal is not to analyze every thought perfectly. The goal is only to understand that the mind has patterns. It repeats, it rehearses, it remembers, it protects, it imagines. Once we see the pattern, the night can feel a little less mysterious. One pattern is replaying. The mind replays moments because it wants a better ending. It imagines saying the right thing. It imagines noticing the sign earlier. It imagines being calmer, wiser, faster, kinder. This can be painful, but it also shows something human. The mind cares about how life goes. It wants to learn from the day. Another pattern is rehearsing. The mind rehearses tomorrow because the future is uncertain. It builds possible scenes. It imagines the meeting, the drive, the bill, the message, the appointment, the conversation. It is trying to reduce surprise. But at night, too much rehearsal can make tomorrow feel heavier than it really is. Another pattern is searching. The mind searches for meaning. It asks why something happened. It asks what someone meant. It asks what a mood means. It asks why you feel the way you feel. Searching can be useful, but tired searching often becomes circular. It keeps asking without finding, because the mind is low on daylight. There is also remembering. Not useful remembering necessarily, just strange remembering. A name from years ago, a street you once walked down, a song you forgot existed, a room from childhood. The mind has deep shelves, and at night it may pull something down without explaining why. These moments can feel odd, but they are part of being alive with memory. Sometimes the mind gets loud because silence gives old feelings room. Many people move through the day by doing. Doing is not wrong. It is how life works. But feelings do not always vanish just because we stay busy. They may wait. Then, When there is no task left, they appear quietly beside the bed. A feeling may not come with a clear story. It may simply be a heaviness, a tenderness, a small sadness, or a sense that time is moving quickly. The mind may try to explain it right away, but not every feeling needs a clean explanation. Some feelings are weather. They pass through. They change the color of the night for a while, then soften. The nighttime mind can also be creative. This is easy to forget because we often notice the difficult thoughts first. But many people have ideas at night. Lines of music, images, solutions, memories, strange connections. When the outside world becomes quiet, the mind may connect things that were separate during the day. This is one reason night can feel deep. It is not only a time of worry, it can also be a time of soft association. The mind wanders. It links one thing to another. A thought about tomorrow becomes a memory of last year. A memory becomes a picture. A picture becomes a dream. The mind is loosening its daytime order. As sleep comes closer, attention often becomes less steady. You may begin a thought and forget the middle of it. You may notice your breathing, then a memory, then a blank space. You may hear the room, then drift somewhere else, then return. These small breaks can be signs that the mind is no longer holding itself so tightly. The first stage of sleep is light. People can move in and out of it without always realizing. You may think you were awake the whole time, even if you briefly slipped under. The mind can continue to make little thoughts there. It can create fragments. It can produce images that feel like dreams, but do not yet have full dream shape. In deeper sleep, the body and brain move into slower rhythms. The heart and breathing slow. Muscles relax more. Brain waves change. Later, in dream sleep, the mind can become vivid again, but in a different way. Across the night, the brain is not simply off. It is moving through changing rooms. This matters because it helps explain why the mind can feel busy near sleep. It is not failing to become quiet in a simple way. It is changing states. Some parts of wakefulness remain for a while. Some parts of dreaming begin early. Thought, image, feeling, and body signal overlap. The mind is leaving the day, piece by piece. If you notice this happening, you do not need to name it perfectly. You do not need to know which stage is near. You can simply think, the mind is shifting, the body is changing. Thoughts are moving through. The night is doing what nights do. This kind of understanding can make the experience feel less like a battle. The mind may still bring up something sharp, a worry, a regret, a plan, a question. When it does, it can be useful to remember that nighttime is a poor judge of size. At night, many things look larger. Morning often changes their shape, not always completely, but enough to show that the mind at midnight is not the only voice. This does not mean ignoring life. It means respecting timing. Some thoughts deserve attention, but not at every hour. Some worries deserve action, but not from a tired bed. Some questions deserve space, but not while the body is trying to enter sleep. The mind can hold a concern without solving it tonight. A gentle phrase for this is, not now. Not harshly. Not as a command. Just a soft boundary. Not now. Mind, we can return to this later. Not now. Memory, you have been seen. Not now. Tomorrow, you will arrive in your own time. The phrase does not have to erase the thought. It only changes the relationship to it. If a worry appears, not now does not mean the worry is foolish. It only means this is not the hour for solving it. If a memory appears, not now does not mean the memory is unwanted. It only means it does not need the whole room tonight. If tomorrow appears, not now means tomorrow can wait until morning. You might imagine saying it very softly, almost like closing a door without locking it. Not now. The thought can stay somewhere nearby, but it does not have to sit on your chest. It does not have to fill the ceiling. It does not have to become the whole night. It can be noticed and then placed a little farther away. This is not a trick to make every thought disappear. Thoughts do not always obey that kind of wish. It is more like changing your posture toward them. Less argument, less chasing, less trying to prove that the thought is wrong. Just a quiet return to the room. The blanket, the darkness, and the simple fact that this moment does not need an answer. There is comfort in remembering that you are not the only person who knows this feeling. Across many rooms, in many cities, people lie down and discover that their minds are still awake. Some replay the day, some plan the future, some remember old rooms, some wonder why they are thinking so much. This is a very human night, and because it is human, it does not need to be treated as a personal failure. The mind gets loud at night because it is sensitive, active, and built to notice. It has carried you through the day. It has watched for meaning. It has held tasks and feelings. Now it needs time to loosen its grip. The mind gets loud when it believes everything is urgent. Rest becomes easier when not everything is treated as urgent. A thought can be real without being immediate. A feeling can be present without being a problem to solve. A plan can wait. A memory can fade. A question can remain unanswered for a few hours. This is one of the quiet skills of night. Letting a thing remain unfinished. The day teaches us to complete, answer, fix, respond, and decide. Sleep asks for something different. It asks us to leave some doors partly open. It asks us to trust that the mind can return later. It asks us to rest without finishing the whole story. That can be difficult because the thinking mind likes control. It likes clean endings. It likes knowing. But sleep belongs to a softer system. It comes when control loosens. It comes when the body feels less watched. It comes when the mind stops checking the gate every few seconds to see if sleep has arrived. The more we stare at sleep, the more awake it can make us feel. It is like trying to watch the exact moment a star appears in the evening sky. If you stare too hard at one patch of darkness, it may feel like nothing is happening. But if your gaze softens, the first light can appear almost by itself. The same can be true of rest. You may not be able to force the exact moment, but you can let the room be quiet. You can let the body be still. You can let thoughts become less important. You can let the mind speak without following every sentence. Slowly, the space between thoughts may widen, and in that widening, the mind may begin to change. A worry becomes a word. A word becomes a soundless shape. A memory becomes an image. An image becomes a dream. The edges soften. The mind stops building full arguments. It starts drifting through fragments. This is often how wakefulness gives way. If the mind returns to the day, that is all right. It has done this before. A thought appears. It stays for a while. It loses energy. Another thought arrives. Some are useful. Some are not. Some feel heavy. Some are strange. You do not have to sort them all. The night is allowed to carry some of them for you. Let us think again of the quiet house. The day has ended. Most rooms are dark. Somewhere, a clock ticks. Somewhere, a pipe settles. Somewhere, a soft sound moves through the walls. The house is not broken because it makes small sounds at night. It is simply settling. The mind, too, may make small sounds while it settles. A settling mind is not always silent. It may creak with memory. It may tick with planning. It may shift with feeling. It may glow for a moment with an idea. None of this means sleep is impossible. It may only mean the mind is changing from the busy shape of day into the slower shape of night. The loosening may happen slowly. It may happen in small waves. First, one thought becomes less clear. Then another. The body grows heavier. The room feels farther away. A sentence in the mind begins but does not finish. The need to answer it becomes weaker. Sleep may not arrive all at once. It may gather around the edges. If a thought still feels bright, you can imagine placing it on a quiet shelf, not throwing it away, not arguing with it, just setting it down where it can wait. A worry on a shelf, a memory on a shelf, a plan on a shelf. The shelf does not solve them. It only keeps them from being held in your hands all night. The mind may pick one back up. That is all right. You can set it down again. There is no need to be perfect at resting. Rest is not a performance. It is not a test of discipline. It is a return. Sometimes the return is smooth. Sometimes it is uneven. Either way, the body still knows many old paths toward sleep. The night does not ask you to understand everything. It does not ask you to replay every word. It does not ask you to plan every hour of tomorrow. It does not ask you to become completely empty. It only offers a quieter space where the mind can slowly stop holding so tightly. So if your mind feels loud tonight, you might listen to it a little differently. Not as an enemy, not as a judge, not as a machine that has failed to turn off. Maybe it is more like a room after a long day, with papers still on the table and a lamp still warm. The room can be left as it is for now. The papers can wait. The lamp can dim. The day can remain partly unfinished. Tomorrow can come later. Memory can soften. The body can stay here, held by the bed, breathing in the quiet. Thought may still move, but it can move more slowly. It does not need to lead anywhere tonight. In the end, the loud mind is often a tired mind, still trying to be useful. It has been solving, watching, remembering, and preparing. Now it can begin to learn a different task. Not solving, not watching, not preparing, just drifting, just letting the night be larger than any single thought. And for now, that may be enough. The room is quiet. The body is here. The mind can speak softly if it needs to, but you do not have to follow every word. Some thoughts can pass. Some questions can wait. Some stories can fade at the edges. The night is still here, patient and dark. And rest belongs to this moment.